Hi there, welcome to the Square House Museum in Rye, New York. My name is Fleur Spolidor and I'm the artist and curator for the Unforgiving Yardstick, a look at women's roles and struggles in Westchester County. This exhibition was made possible by the Rye Historical Society's staff, interns and volunteers, as well as a grant from ArtsWestchester. Let's take a look.
My name is Christine Moore. I'm the archival researcher at Rye Historical Society. This is one of my favourite pieces because the detail is amazing. It looks so realistic, although it's made out of tape measures. It actually looks like real fabric. But it's my favourite because I think this is the period when women really started to make headway in how we're treated and standing up for ourselves. The fact that these are bloomers and not a dress is right at the very start. So this is one of my favourite pieces.
Hello, my name is Agnesa Rossi, and I'm a student at SUNY Purchase who's interning at the Rye Historical Society. One of the projects I worked on was the Unforgiving Yardstick exhibition that showcases women and their different hardships in Westchester. One of the women that we had to research was Ethel Barrymore, that's seen here. And one of my favorite pieces in the exhibition that I had to find through the collection was this 1940s evening dress. And although it's not Ethel Barrymore's, it does resemble what she would have worn sort of as a performer and on the stage.
All right, so I'm Adam.
I'm Connor.
And we're going to be talking about Peg Ryan, also known as Margaret Green. So Peg, she was triracial. She was Lenape, East and West African on her maternal side. And on her paternal side, she had British ancestry. She was on April 12th, 1800. And initially she was sold for £50, which is now about $15,000. And here is a portrait of Peg Ryan.
What's interesting about the portrait is that since back then they didn't have photos, the portrait that was made of her was actually based on her ancestors who are around today. It's not an actual image of her because we don't know what she looks like.
Hi, my name is Elena Chesley. I'm interning for the Rye Historical Society. I'm standing between one of the corsets from our archive and then one that Fleur made for the Unforgiving Yardstick. I think it really just provided a perfect metaphor for me after walking through the whole exhibit and seeing all these women and how they were measured in society and how they were restricted. I think it shows the corset analogy and then also just being made of the measuring tapes. It really perfectly summed up this exhibit for me.
Chase. I'm an intern here at the Square House Museum for my senior internship, and one exhibit that really caught my eye here is Dolores Johnson. Taking a look at this artwork from afar, it shows the evolution of the uniform, and that is a symbol of just how much the law enforcement position would change as a help of Johnson being the first African-American woman in as a captain and helping break down those barriers. And even looking even further, you could see all the articles, and it kind of talks a lot, especially from her perspective, just how much ground was broken through this. And it's a really interesting exhibit, and I think you should all check it out.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Althoff-Snyder. I'm the Director of Communications at the Rye Historical Society. And the piece that really spoke to me in this yardstick exhibit is the portrait of Jeannie Chung. Jeannie is an unsung hero. She organized a very, very large group of people throughout Westchester County during COVID when there was a major shortage in masks, and hospitals and nurses and nursing homes were struggling to access masks during the COVID pandemic. Jeannie rallied an entire community, not only in Mamaroneck, but Rye and Harrison and all around Westchester, to sew masks and provide these organizations that were struggling to get access to masks, as many as they could. She is sort of very humble about her contributions, but she really is an example of an incredible community activist who was pulling everyone together during a very, very difficult and scary time. So this is one of the pieces that I was really, really taken by.
My name is Natalie Hofstad. I am the Director of Programming at the Rye Historical Society. All right, so my favorite piece in Yardstick is the Oriole Red portrait here. I just think that she especially looks so noble and royal and elegant. And I think that it's a really good tie into the rest of the history of Rye, and that the station plaza is going to be renamed in honor of the Red family. So I just think that she is a great tie-in for engaging with the Rye community.
I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please stop by.